here we go. Back again. Alright. And today, I wanted to cover the secret society that is, of course, the well-known, not so fucking secret, the Freemasons. And I did say, well, originally, I just wanted to cover what had been happening recently in the news in regards to the Freemasons, because they have been in the news quite a lot, and it is in regards to things like this. Cambridgeshire Freemasons donate during lockdown. So yeah, they've been coming out and helping, of course, and are portrayed in the media as heroes, right? 2 days ago, which was actually sometime in August that this happened. But yeah, again, presenting a check to a charity. Here's one here again from August, Year of Deception. Freemasons set to open town centre drinking spot to the public. Wow, so you can now go and have a pint with the Hero Masons in Derby. Fantastic, right? A bit local to me in Murray here in Elgin, good old Elgin. 2 days ago, again in August, Press and Journal. Funding boost for Murray School Bank thanks to Freemasons. And where I am, in sunny old Elgin, right? Where it rains fucking all the time. But yeah, the Freemason connection, it goes fucking deep here for sure. And this is on, these are actually photos that I have taken of a building on Elgin High Street. And as you can see, it's got the Masonic symbol. That was the first thing that I seen a few years ago. And yeah, it's an old Masonic lodge from the early 1900s, right? And here's another one here, again in August, and it is Lee Freemasons give boost to trust links. So again, they are being portrayed as the good guys, right? Another one, 16th of August, mental health charity receive £2,000 donation from Welshpool Freemasons. Right, so again, the heroes coming to save the day, right? The secret society. And this is really just a very, very small drop in the ocean of these articles that I have been seeing a lot over this year, since the start of this year. Would you believe it? Right, but yeah, they're portraying Freemasons as the heroes, and that was the original point of the video that I was going to make. It was just going to be a short video pointing out a couple of things, but I think it's only fair that we look into them a wee bit more. Who are they? What are they? Right? What's the script? So yeah, we'll have a wee look. As usual, a bit relaxed and nothing too extreme, right? But we'll go to first this story at The Economist. One of the go-to for all you need to know, and most likely controlled by Freemasons, right? But yeah, a global history of Freemasons. Wow. And this came out, would you believe it, again, August this year. The Year of Deception, it is for sure. And yeah, this is a global history, but I'm not subscribed, and it didn't show the whole story, right? So what did it show? Well, since they first came to prominence in the ale houses of 18th century London, the Freemasons have proved adept at self-promotion. From their blindfolded initiation ceremony, obscure rituals and symbols and infamous handshake, the organisation has grasped the powerful attraction of mystery as a recruiting tool. Today, the secret society has around 6 million members, most of them in America. Right, so yeah, there is a rough estimate of the amount of members that they have, and their first initiation is to do with a blindfold, or more likely these glasses here. This is seemingly the glasses that they use, and it's from light to dark or something like that. But of course, that is just joining the Freemasons, right? And yeah, there's 33 different levels. So what sort of initiations and other sacrifices would you have to make at other levels, right? They tell us the blindfolded one, but that is as far as it goes. Surprise, surprise. So what is the purpose of Freemasonry? Well, they tell us that the basic purpose is to make better men out of good men, right? Better fathers, better husbands, better brothers, and better sons, right? We try to place emphasis on the individual man by strengthening his character, improving his morale and spiritual outlook, and broadening his mental horizons. Right, so yeah, they claim that they make better men of good men, right? So being good is not good enough. You've got to be a Freemason and be a better man. And they broaden your mental horizons. So yeah, it looks like they claim to hold some sort of knowledge that the normal average good man does not have, right? So they claim to hold secrets, and when you join, it's a case of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, right? The majority of members at low levels, like I have said, they join through business, because of course everyone is in this society that we live in is chasing the dollar, right? They need the money or their ticket out, right, of the hellhole that is society. And if it's not through business, it's through their profession, either mostly police and doctors. What a fucking surprise, right? And teachers, of course, judges, especially Freemasons, right? So in terms of the history, if we go to History Extra, your guide to the Freemasons, right? This fraternal organisation from the fucking Middle Ages that's still here running the fucking show, right? When and where did Freemasonry originate? Good question, right? Well, there is still a great deal of speculation about how the fraternal organisation of Freemasonry originated, right? So yeah, a bit of mystery already surrounding it. What a surprise! The earliest known texts relating to Masonry date to 1390 to 1425 and state that the craft of Freemasonry began with the Greek mathematician Euclid in 300 BC, Egypt, arriving in England during the reign of King Athelstan in the 10th century. Right, so the first sort of name that we get in terms of the origin is this Greek, would you believe it? We're back at Greece, mathematician Euclid, right? And then it was taken to England, or someone took it to England, I would imagine, in the 10th century, right? Anyone remember that? I'm sure you do. Anyway, we will touch on Euclid in a bit, but it goes on. The earliest English documents of Freemasonry also date to the 14th century and appear to refer to a worker in freestone, a type of sandstone or limestone that was used to create ornamental masonry, right? Some historians have interpreted the word free to mean that the Mason was not enslaved or bound to a master, but the truth of this is unclear. So again, a bit of mystery surrounding it. What a surprise, right? But we'll carry on in terms of the history with this article. And it then goes on to say, the movement was designed to allow men to socialise together, right? Avoiding the topics of religion and politics. Wow, would you believe that, right? The Grand Lodge of Ireland was subsequently formed in 1725, followed by the Grand Lodge of Scotland in 1736. So to anyone that wondered if it all started in Scotland, it didn't, but they took it here and they took over for sure and fucking have destroyed Scotland 100%. That is for fucking sure. And it continues, mirroring the expansion of the British Empire, right? What a coincidence that it mirrored that. But of course, they were in control of the British Empire and everything that it done. Freemasonry too expanded greatly overseas. Shock horror. And by 1900, some 2,800 Grand Lodges had been formed across the globe, including North America and Europe. Well-known individuals such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Edward Jenner, Walter Scott and William IV were all members of the organisation. Ain't that a surprise? Famous scientists, physicians, politicians, presidents, celebrities, royal family members, Freemasons. That'll come as a huge fucking shock. But of course, that is a very, very, very small drop in the ocean, because it doesn't end there. Of course, they are everywhere, infecting fucking everything. And it did say at the bottom of this article, what about the Masonic conspiracy theories? And are they real? I wonder. And it says, conspiracy theories have followed the Freemasons since the 18th century, right? So almost since the start, right? Among them are the claims that the Freemasons are connected to the Illuminati, that they worship the devil, and even that they faked the Apollo moon landings. Damn fucking straight, that is for sure. But of course, how would they know that any of that was false? They wouldn't be able to say for sure, because there's that much mystery surrounding this secret society. They could in fact worship the devil, and that would not fucking surprise me one bit. In fact, it would make sense. Let's face it, right? It then does say, symbols, images and ritual remain an important part of the Freemason movement, the learning and performing of which takes place behind closed doors in member-only ceremonies. Ain't that a shame, right? This good, great organisation that helps out all these charities and are so generous even. But yeah, everything is shrouded in fucking secrecy. But why, right? And in terms of this guy, what's his name again? Euclid. Euclid, right? Yeah, a mathematician. And would you believe it? A Greek mathematician. So what was the script with this guy, right? Euclid, that's a statue of him at Oxford University. Ain't that a surprise? Well, Euclid, sometimes called Euclid of Alexandria, to distinguish him from Euclid of Megara, right? So, again, interestingly enough, confusion already, right? Was a Greek mathematician, sure, often referred to as the founder of geometry or the father of geometry. He was active in Alexandria during the reign of Ptolemy, right? So back in the 4th century, remember it well. And this article here, plusmaths.org, how Euclid once ruled the world. Ain't that a surprise? Just like, of course, the Freemasons today. But shh, don't tell anyone. They're the good guys, sure. But let's have a wee look at geometry and Euclid. And yeah, let's see what it says. Well, geometry is obviously a very useful area of maths. We need it to measure things, to understand shapes, and to navigate through the spaces we live in. But I'd like to argue that geometry is much more than that. It interacts with all aspects of human thought and life. Would you believe it? To start, let's turn to a person who is universally known as the father of geometry, the ancient Greek mathematician Euclid. Euclid's work is the earliest example we have of a systematic approach to geometry. When you make a general statement in geometry, such as Pythagoras' theorem, you should prove this statement by deriving it from statements you're convinced are self-evident, using the rules of logic. For 2,000 years, Euclid's systematic approach seemed to prove truths about geometrical objects and thereby to achieve certainty. Right, and the first time I read that, the first thing that came into my head was the done previously thought syndrome, where they just throw all of the shit and hope that some of it sticks, right? And that is the first thing that came into my head when I read that. But here is some of the people that Euclid influenced. Isaac Newton, and yeah, I bet you any money he had the fucking syndrome big time. And if we look at a wee bit in terms of the origin of Greek mathematics, right? We'll have a wee look at least, without overcomplicating it, as always, right? The origin of Greek mathematics is not well documented. Shock horror. The earliest advanced civilization in Greece and in Europe were the Mayan and later Mycenaean civilizations, both of which flourished during the 2nd millennium BC. While these civilizations possessed writing and were capable of advanced engineering, including 4-story palaces with drainage and beehive tombs, they left behind no mathematical documents. Now, ain't that a fucking surprise, right? Or is it the fact that there is documents, but we don't get to fucking see them, right? That's what I would imagine is the case. Because, yeah, these documents will be there because we know that these civilizations had advanced technology and, yeah, it didn't just fucking disappear or grow legs and run away. That is for sure, right? And to continue, and I thought we could look at early geometry, right? Fantastic. And it says the earliest recorded beginnings of geometry can be traced to early peoples who discovered obtuse triangles in the ancient Indus Valley and ancient Babylon from around 300 BC. Early geometry was a collection of impeccably discovered principles concerning lengths, angles, areas, and volumes, which were developed to meet some practical need in surveying, construction, astronomy, and various crafts. Among these were some surprisingly sophisticated principles. Wow! And a modern mathematician might be hard put to derive some of them without the use of calculus and algebra. Right. For example, both the Egyptians and the Babylonians were aware of versions of the Pythagorean theorem about 1500 years before Pythagoras and the Indian Zubla sutras around 800 BC contained the first statements of the theorem. The Egyptians had a correct formula for the volume of a frustum of a square pyramid, which I believe is to do with the proportion, right? So they knew their stuff, but as you can see, geometry stretches way back, right? To the people that ran the show then, to the people that run the show now. And it was interesting, I thought, that they mentioned before the Sapiens, because I know that they believed in a mythological god. I forget his name, but he was a cyclops, a giant cyclops, and he had one eye, right? So is that the all-seeing eye? In terms of the all-seeing eye, the Masons tell us that it's the eye of God. But is it? Because again, what do you fucking believe, right? But yeah, it goes way back. Geometry, that is for sure. And these are some known Freemasons that you might recognise. And for me, Robert Burns, Rabbi, that was a serious fucking kick in the balls to find out that he was a Freemason. But of course, yeah, it all sort of makes sense. And there's some more. And with the hand symbol, of course, I did give away. Here's a few others that I am sure you will recognise. That is for sure. There is a couple more. Yeah, the moon landing. NASA, astronauts. Ain't that a fucking surprise? Sportsmen, celebrities. Yeah, paedophile celebrities. What a shock that is. And in terms of the celebrities, they're quite obvious. But the ones that we don't really hear about are more people like this guy, Edward Gibbon, an English historian, writer and member of Parliament. His most important work, The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Right, so these are the sort of guys that basically rewrite history. So this is what Freemasons do. The mathematical documents they didn't disappear, like I said. They were there. Someone has them, right? And Freemasons basically make, scrub, and rewrite history. That's what they've been doing throughout. And of course, we're left scratching our heads because pieces of the puzzle are, of course, missing. But someone has them for sure. And maybe that is the knowledge that they claim to have. And I want to touch on, we're not quite done yet, I'm afraid, some of the degrees, right? Because, yeah, I think we could cover some of this. And as you can see, I noticed that name, George H. Lilly, because we covered an article from there before, and it was in regards to a list of famous Freemasons you need to see, right? So I thought that's quite interesting. I hadn't really looked at this company before, so I checked it out, and they actually make gowns for Freemasons. So yeah, it is, of course, Freemasons. And yeah, would you believe it? It is in Australia, Melbourne. Ain't that a fucking surprise? And like I have said, Australia, like Scotland, completely controlled by an evil group of Freemasonic fucking evil bastards. Let's fucking put it that way for sure. Sorry for the language, but yeah, there you go. So to get into the the degrees, a wee bit the ranks, if you like. The status of any Freemason can be identified by his degree, right? Which represents the steps he has taken from the lower ranks up to the highest degree of Freemason knowledge, right? The Holy Grail, the 33rd degree, I would imagine, right? And it then goes on to say, nowadays, there are many different kinds of degree systems all around the world, including symbolic degrees, chapter degrees, historic degrees, and more. Wow, so yeah, it sounds a bit like it's a fucking university, right? Ain't that a fucking coincidence, right? And to continue with it, this article, it then says, the standard widely accepted Masonic rite has 3 degrees. They are entered apprentice, fellowcraft, and the highest rank that anyone can earn, master mason. Right, so that's the standard sort of ranking, but we'll expand on it a bit more, right? A common alternative, the Scottish Rite, has 33 degrees, including these 3 standard rankings and 30 other supplementary degrees, which we'll list below. Oh goody, can't wait, right? But yeah, the Scottish Rite is evidently a big part of the Freemasonic legacy, if you like, and we will expand on it. And it then says, you could think of these additional degrees as honorary, wow, given to those Masons who have maintained consistent, significant participation with the order. Wow, the degrees are given based on merit and ability, although Master Masons cannot progress through these degrees without time and examination. Sure, got to make you fit and healthy, right, for the position, or whatever that is. To maintain the 32nd degree, for example, a Freemason must have been a Master Mason for at least 14 years, have been elected Master of the Lodge, and have satisfactorily served the Supreme Council. Wow, the Supreme Council, right? And yeah, so they don't just hand out these degrees overnight, right? It takes time for them to check you out and to sort of brainwash you and God only knows what else, right? It then says there are more than an estimated 160,000 members of the Scottish Rite in the world, with just some 4,000 holding the 33rd degree. Aside from the Scottish Rite, there are several other orders with more than 3 degrees, including the New York Rite with 9 degrees and the Swedish Rite with 10 degrees. Right, so I'd imagine that they're in Sweden as well, which is interesting, given that Sweden have not went into lockdown and are not mandating masks, right? We might look into that again another time. But sticking with the Scottish Rite, compared to the 3 degrees in standard Freemasonry, the Scottish Rite is an offshoot of Freemasonry, has 33 degrees. 30 of these degrees are appendant degrees, right? In that they are not higher in ranking, but lateral. This means that a member with a 21st degree in the Scottish Rite has the same ranking as someone with the 3rd degree of Masonry, right? So if you're in the Scottish Rite and high up, then you're like one of the top Masons by the sounds of it. To expand on it more, the 3 degrees are the same as those for Blue Lodge Freemasonry. The others can be split into categories called the Lodge of Perfection, 4 to 14 degrees, the Council of Princes of Jerusalem, degrees 15 and 16, the chapter of Rose Croix, degrees 17 and 18, and the consistory, degrees 19 to 32. Right, so yeah, it expands. It's like a web of fucking degrees, right? And this is a list of the degrees in the Lodge of Perfection, as you can see. Yeah, and I won't read them out, but if you want to pause it and check them out, then feel free. And in terms of the Council of Princes of Jerusalem, the 15th and 16th degrees, Knight of the Prince of Jerusalem respectively, are historical degrees teaching biblical events that relate lessons about dedication to conviction, duty, and truth. Right. Sure, why not, right? And to expand on the other one, what was it? The chapter of Rose Croix or Croix? I don't know, right? But yeah, the 17th degree, Knight of the East and West, teaches about the importance of seeking truth in our life path and avoid repeating past errors. Right, sure. Meanwhile, the 18th degree, Knight of the Rose Croix of HRDM, teaches laws of universality and tolerance. Sure it does. Why not? Of course, right? But I would imagine, there's deception there for sure. And that is a list of the ranks in the Princes of Jerusalem, or whatever it's called. And yeah, if you want to have a look, check them out. I won't read them out, but there they go. And the Master Mason, what about that dude, right? The 3rd degree represents maturity with advanced wisdom and knowledge. Wow. Master Masons are taught about virtue and morality, along with the duties and tools of a Master Mason. Once a Mason has completed his 3rd degree, which usually takes some years, he receives all the rights and privileges available to him and will become known as a Master Mason. Wow, right? So yeah, the holy grail for the psychopath Masons, to become the Master Mason and get all the fucking bad news, right? Or the knowledge, if you like. And the 33rd degree. The 33rd degree is a supreme honour bestowed only on those who have demonstrated outstanding service to the Brotherhood, as well as professional and personal accomplishments. Right. Now I wonder what some of them might be, right? And sacrifices, probably should have said, because what you do, as you can see, is climb the fucking ladder. And of course they told us about the wee blindfold ceremony, initiation, but yeah, that's as far as it goes. That's not even the first fucking step, really. That's just the beginning. The majority of people probably don't go past that, but the ones that do will be very fucking psychopathic indeed, right? That's why a lot of psychopaths make it to the top. Everything in life to them is a ladder that they have to climb, and to get to the top, they will do fucking anything. And if you've any experience in life, or in work, or in business, you will know what I am talking about, that is for sure. So yeah, that was my crack at the history of Freemasons. And yeah, as always, a bit of a beginner's guide to the Freemason movement, right? And I think, you would be hard pushed to not see that Freemasons built the world. They write history. They fucking rewrite history. And it's clear to see that they built the world. But you couldn't then say that, yeah, okay, they built the world, but they don't run it. Of course, They fucking run it, unfortunately, for us. That is for sure. And yeah, all the signs are there, the symbols. And you would really have to be wearing a fucking blindfold not to see it. But yeah, we will touch on the Masons again, for sure. And if you've got any comments or experiences with the Masons, then let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching. And thanks to all my current and new subscribers. And thank you again to everyone that engages with the channel. Much appreciated. I will be back again with the Than Previously Thought Syndrome. And of course, the Friday Fix. Hopefully on fucking Friday. Alright? And that is about it. Bye-bye.